How to clean a Glock in 4 easy steps. This will be demonstrated on a Glock 17 Gen 5, but this will work for virtually any Glock. Let's get started. Step 1, we're going to field strip or disassemble the Glock 17. First, remove the magazine, make sure it is empty, lock the slide back, verify there's no round in the chamber, close the gun, point the gun in a safe direction, press the trigger. Trigger must be in the rear position to remove the slide. Hold the slide slightly back like that. Take 2 takedown levers here and pull them down on both sides. Release the slide and push it, and it comes right off the front. Turn the slide over, press on the recoil spring so it releases. Pull that out. Remove the barrel. That is step 1. Step 2, we're going to clean each of the pieces individually. To clean the gun, we're going to use original gun oil, which is a C.L.P, a cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. This particular gun oil is my favorite. It is non-toxic, non-staining, and non-scented. It doesn't stink up the house. I don't have to worry about getting it on my fingers. We're going to use a gun brush. If you don't have one of these, a toothbrush will work, but I like the 2 different sizes on here. I got a bunch of cut up t-shirts. We're going to use a Boresnake to clean the inside of the barrel. This is a Hoppes Boresnake. It's a 9mm Boresnake. Also does these other calibers here. And we're going to use some good old cotton swabs. For the detail cleaning, I love these dual tip cotton swabs. They got a regular end and a tapered end, which gets in a lot of tight spaces. All right, let's get started. First thing I do is take the barrel, which is going to be the dirtiest part, and I'm just going to drip a fair amount of oil down into the barrel. That's going to start working on cleaning that, and I'm going to set that aside. Then we're going to take the slide, just get a few drops of oil kind of all over the inside of the slide, and then we're just going to take a brush and we're going to brush everything clean. You don't want to get a bunch of oil down into this area where the firing pin is. You also don't want to get oil into the hole where the firing pin comes out on the breech face. All right, we're just going to clean. We're just going to brush it a little bit here, get the dirt out, especially in these slide cuts. That's how the slide moves along the frame. Just get that real good. And you can wipe off your brush. To get all the oil out, use a cloth to wipe it, and use a brush to push the cloth into all the small nooks and crannies and areas. And that does a pretty good job getting all the oil and dirt out of there. We do want to clean the breech face, but you don't want to get a whole bunch of oil in there. So just kind of brush this area clean. Make sure you get under this little hook. This is the extractor. That needs to be clear underneath because that's what grabs the rim of your brass to pull it out. So just get a brush in there. Make sure that's nice and clean. And do your best to get all crud out of there. Get in the slide cuts on both sides. Anywhere you can't get into at all, you can get a cotton swab with a pointy tip on it like these. Get all the rest of that out of there. Alright, that's looking pretty good. We're going to do a similar thing with the frame. We just want to get these rails here. That's what the slide moves along. And anywhere else in here that kind of looks to be a little bit dirty. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to put a couple of drops of oil. Not a lot in the frame. Going to get a brush. Going to clean that up. And just kind of brush all the surfaces that you can get to. Anything that looks like it's got some carbon buildup on it or any kind of dirt. Just get that pretty good in there. Then we're going to do the same thing. Get a rag over top and use the brush to push the rag into all the little nooks and crannies, all the tight little areas. As your rags get dirty, get a new one. Just kind of keep brushing it until the rag's pretty clean. I like to push a rag through the grip just to get any crud that might have gotten into the grip. You can do that a couple of times if you need to. Follow up with the cotton swab. Just get everything clean that looks a little dirty. If the exterior of the gun is dirty, wipe it with a cloth. If it's really dirty, you can get some gun oil on there as well. That'll clean it up and it's not going to harm it at all. Recoil spring, it really doesn't even mention cleaning this in the user manual, but you can just get a brush If it does look really dirty, you can put a little gun oil on here too. It's certainly not going to hurt anything. This one doesn't look too bad, so we're going to be done with that. Magazine. I have a video on how to disassemble the magazine if you think you've got some dirt or grime or gravel inside. I'll link that up here and also in the description. But for the most part, just wipe it down. Make sure the follower is nice and clean. You don't really want to use gun oil on this. You don't want to get oil into the magazine. You can put the tiniest bit on there, but make sure you wipe it off when you're done. Make sure the follower works and everything looks pretty good. Now we're going to clean the inside of the barrel. Now we put some oil in here earlier to let it kind of soak, and all we're going to do is drop the Boresnake through. It has built-in brushes on it, so instead of running patches through and then brushing it and running more patches, we're basically doing all this in one step. So this is going to pull the oil through as well as brush the inside of the barrel. And all this material acts as a whole bunch of patches that you're pulling through. This Boresnake method will clean most of the dirt out of there, and you're going to be good to go. After you do that, make sure your feed ramp is clean. Put a little drop of oil on the feed ramp, and then wipe this whole area, and then wipe the exterior of the barrel down with a little bit of oil. Alright, we're going to be good to go there. Alright, that was the cleaning part. That was pretty painless, and now we're going to lubricate. Step 3, lubricating your Glock. So I'm going to use original gun oil. You can use any high quality gun oil to lubricate your Glock. You don't need a lot of oil. I'm going to follow the manual here, so just put a drop or two on a cloth, take the barrel, and wipe the barrel down, all parts of the barrel, including the lugs on the top here. A nice coat on everything. Same thing on the inside of the slide, down in this area, because the top of the barrel hood slides along this area, and also around the opening where the barrel and slide kind of come together. A little bit of oil there. Next place the Glock manual says is just one drop of oil right here, one small drop, and then just dab it a little so there isn't too much in there. Next place is we want to put a drop of oil in each of the slide cuts. The slide cuts is this slot that runs along the inside on both sides of the slide. This is where the slide moves back and forth on the rails of the frame. So I'm just going to put one drop in that cut, one drop in that cut, and then I'm just going to take that one drop and spread it up and down the slide cut. And then just a quick, in case any extra got on there. And the last place the manual says is just kind of wipe down the outside of the slide with a little bit of oil that's still on your rag. This is more to protect the steel than anything, because you don't want your slide to be slippery, so you don't want much on there at all. Alright, and that is it for lubricating the Glock 17 per the user manual. Alright, step 4 is going to be reassembly. Now before you reassemble, there is a user inspection that Glock recommends you do, and I have a video I'll link to up in the corner and down in the description for that. So you can do that after, but part of it happens before you put the gun completely together. So to reassemble the gun, take the slide, the barrel in it, recoil spring. This end goes in the front, this end's in the back. Just place it in, squeeze it down. You want it to sit exactly like that in the slide. Okay, just line up the slide cuts with the rails like that. Slide that on. When you get here, be careful of the ejector so you don't scratch the back of your slide. So just kind of guide that in, guide that past that like that. Move the slide all the way to the back. You can engage that if you want, although it's already pretty much back together. Alright, now your Glock is all back together, all ready to go and clean. Make sure you do your function checks before you take it out or use it for concealed carry. Alright, if you like this video, please hit like below. Please check out the description for the products used in this video, and thanks for watching.